I know. 2 videos, 1 week so far. I'm having a rough day. I'm running on no sleep. And it started yesterday. For some of you who know or don't know, I was on a weight loss journey. And to keep the story short, I had been overweight my entire life. A few years ago, I finally was able to do something about it and really get into it. I lost 120 pounds, and I was still about 50 pounds away from my goal weight. And we ended up moving to a completely different city. And I want to say completely because we're moving back to basically to Orlando, which was a complete city from where we moved to. God, that makes no sense. So we went from Orlando to St. Augustine back to Orlando, basically. I'd never been a huge fan of Orlando. And I absolutely love St. Augustine. But we moved back due to financial issues of not being able to, I wasn't able to find full-time work there. We were there for 2 years. In about a year and half-ish is I lost the weight. So when we moved back to Orlando, I struggled to try to keep the weight off because my schedule in Orlando was completely different. And my work was completely different. It was strictly desk job with an hour or so commute a day. So it was a little tricky, and my job was always had like free stuff and like free food. So sadly, the last few years I gained about 50 pounds of the 120 pound weight loss. When I started my weight loss, I started with Bikram yoga, which is hot yoga, and I absolutely loved it. Not the first few classes. The first few classes felt like it was torture and I was going to die. But once I got into it, I really enjoyed it. And I did hot yoga, and then I did some other like wusa type yoga. And that and clean eating is how I got, and the gym is how I lost the weight. So I've always been, even as a bigger person, I've always been a little bit more flexible than most. I took dance when I was little. I was able to do some of the gymnastic moves, and don't ask me what they were like. But I think despite the being bigger, I was able to still keep up with some of the flexibility. When I lost the weight, I was a lot more flexible, and I was able to do a lot more things. So I'm still doing yoga. I happened to do a sequence of prenatal yoga off of YouTube yesterday. And since Sunday to Monday is when I really started feeling, I guess, pregnancy huge is, I guess, the proper word, or whatever word. Like, despite having gained the weight, I know I've gained the weight and it just sucks. I know how I look now. But Sunday is when I felt bigger due to the pregnancy. And I know that there's going to be limitations to what I can do from here on till September. But at one point, I was trying to do the one of the squats, the Malasana squat, which is basically like a catcher type squat. I really love it. It like stretches everything out. It's like, it's a really good, like, I really love doing that squat. And I was just able to do it just a few weeks ago. And yesterday when I tried doing it, I couldn't. Like, I couldn't even get sort of kind of into it. Like, it was just no go. At that point, I started to ugly cry during yoga. I cried throughout the rest of the fucking series. It wasn't too much left of it. And I've always been a little bit of a perfectionist, and knowing where I initially came from at 340 pounds to where, and seeing where I had gotten to, and what I was able to achieve after I lost 120 pounds, and then just seeing it kind of reverse, it hit me hard yesterday. And I know it's because of the pregnancy. It's not because of the weight gain. But it just took me back to a time that it's really hard to explain. I overthink a lot of shit. But I was done. Like, I went to bed crying. Like, I was basically inconsolable yesterday. Because at this point, I completely hated my body. And it's so funny because even when I was 340, I was still rocking my body. Like, I wore heels and I wore plunging, like, tops, and, like, I felt sexy and I felt good, and as I lost the weight, I felt better about myself and more confident and more like take charge. And this body hating, it has been in the works for a while. Even before the pregnancy, like, I feel that I failed myself, I failed my body. But yesterday, last night, like, I completely hated my body. And I didn't sleep a wink last night. But I've never ugly cried through yoga before. It was rough. And my poor husband just tries to, like, console me in his way. But hopefully this will be my motivator come September. And once that baby pops out, shit's about to get real. So it hasn't been too much of a struggle with the pregnancy. Hell, I was kayaking just fine. Kayaked for hours. We did 6 miles not too long ago. And then it's been nothing but fucking rain here in Florida for the last month. But another choice but to keep on going, right? But thanks for watching. If you have anything to say, let me know. 16 more weeks. Alrighty. I gotta eat big dinner. Starving. Bye.